Yo, what is going on, guys? Now, I know I don't normally do videos like this, and I figured I would do a video like this because this is a juicy update, a developer update. Destiny 2021 update, the road to the Witch Queen. Now, a lot of the homies are playing Outriders right now, so I figured, hey, screw it. Why don't I go through some of these changes? Because there are some absolutely massive changes in this update right here. So, the first thing they are talking about in this update is that the Witch Queen is being delayed to early 2022, which is pretty huge. It's a pretty huge decision. They're basically saying that, you know, they want to take more time to get it right. And they also basically announced that there's going to be an additional chapter after Lightfall. So we know we're getting the Witch Queen, we know we're getting the Lightfall. And they're also saying that basically there's going to be another chapter after that, after Lightfall, to wrap up and fully complete our first saga of Destiny. This is really huge. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be disappointed that we're not getting our usual, you know, autumn/winter release. And who knows what content they're going to have lined up for us in the meantime. Could be a bit of a dry spell for the game. Time will tell. Obviously, COVID-19 is playing a role in this as well. They are working from home, and it's a very big workload. They do say here, making this choice is not one we took lightly. Believe me, as someone close to Witch Queen's progress, there's no one more than us that wants to get it out as soon as it's ready. But at the end of the day, we know we're making this call for the Witch Queen and the future chapters in Destiny 2 for all the right reasons, ones that puts the team first and our game at the quality bar we strive for ourselves. We'll have more to share on the Witch Queen and beyond in the late summer of this year, but today we need to talk about what's happening in 2021. Alright guys, so this is basically the big news. I'm not going to read this whole thing for you because it would probably take quite a while, but they're basically talking about how sunsetting is kind of terrible, and basically sunsetting has been reverted. You can see it right here. I'll read this little part for you. While we still strongly believe that Destiny needs a method to shift our meta in the game's most challenging activities, we don't believe that infusion caps are the right answer. We're taking time this year to research and validate a plan that creates a fresh and balanceable ecosystem for our most aspirational content. One that doesn't make our rewards feel like they have an expiration date. We've learned a lot this year and we don't want to rush finding the best plan, so don't expect to hear anything more about this until after the Witch Queen. But we basically know for sure that sunsetting is scrapped. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So you want to see here that it's basically saying because we won't capping any more of our weapons, we must consider variables in the game balance for upcoming seasons and releases. So we're going to see tuning when it comes to our biggest outliers in PvP and PvE. Yes, I'm looking at you, Fellwinters and Warmind Cells. This is a big change for Destiny and one that we did not make lightly. However, there's nothing more important in Destiny than getting our rewards right. So you can see here basically you'll be able to take your trusty, your falling guillotine and all the high stat armor you've earned this year to take on the raid in the Witch Queen. So this is real nice. Basically hold on to your god rolls guys, because if you've got some really good guns and you think they're being sunset, well they're basically going back on that. And this is very big. Bungie have been pretty stubborn in the past, you know, they make a decision and they kind of just stick to it. This sort of flexibility will be very good for the game. Now the next thing they do is talk about power. Last year we started a paradigm where we raised the overall power cap by 50 each season. Whilst this helped ensure the infusion caps shifted the meta, it also made each season feel like a significant reset to the power you had accumulated. To combat this, we'll be experimenting with a new power level cap. Starting in season 14, we will only be raising the power cap by 10 for each non-expansion season. This means if you reach the maximum power in season 13, when next season rolls around, you'll be directly in the 10-point pinnacle brand of the power pursuit. This is a really good change in my opinion. The power grind is very boring and this is nice. Just skip that first part and let's get to that pinnacle 10-point chase, because that's all the power leveling is all about in this game at the moment. This power increase should feel similar to anyone who's played Season of the Dawn last year, and we're excited to see how this progression feels alongside our new systems. We believe this change will make it even easier to pick up and enjoy Destiny each season, while still allowing us to have a deep RPG power pursuit when we launch the Witch Queen. Like many of you, I am passionate about PvP. They're talking about PvP, guys. I don't believe it, man. I do not believe it. This is interesting. They're finally talking about PvP. It's been 84 years. So let's have a look here. It's a simple vision, but it's one that's crucial to making the game feel like a real place for those players that crave that showcase, where the rewards you earn, the skill you demonstrate, and how you've built your Guardian all matter. So let's talk about what we're doing this year for PvP, starting with our two priorities: improving gameplay sandbox balance in the Crucible, and upgrading the experiences of our most aspirational game modes. When it comes to balance updates, these can be divided into three major buckets. So, first in Season 15, they'll be addressing 3 peaking in Trials and Competitive. In these modes, emotes will be disabled and players will be unable to pull out any third-person weapon that doesn't have ammo. This is a really good change. 3 peaking, in my opinion, was not as prevalent and as annoying in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2, players have taken it to another level, and this change is really nice. Now players won't have an unfair advantage by pulling out a sword and all of that. But yeah, good change. Been asking for it for quite a while. Good stuff from Bungie. Second, over the next several seasons, we'll be making changes to Stasis and Light subclasses in order to achieve a healthier balance of subclasses in the Crucible. Across Season 13 and 14, we'll be adjusting Stasis in the Crucible in order to bring its overall effectiveness in line with our Light subclasses. Here are some of the changes you can expect. So the Behemoth Titan is getting a nerf, which obviously it really needed. Decrease super damage reduction, good. Increase super energy costs when performing light attacks, good. Remove AoE freeze on supercasts, good. Reduce the traveling efficiency of Shiver Strike when slowed, good. Well, anything that works in the favor of being slowed is not good, but okay, we'll take that. Decrease slow stacks applied to targets. Remove Shatter Dive damage reduction. Now, one thing I'm kind of confused about with the Revenant part, is this for the neutral game or is this just for the super? I'm not sure. If this is for the neutral game, then this is really good, because the amount of stacks that are applied with the slow at the moment is way too high, and is what makes Revenant so oppressive in the Crucible. They can hit you with 2 slow abilities, they have 4 slow abilities on command, and you get frozen very quickly. Removing the Shatter Dab damage reduction is also a good change. So, you know what, not bad, definitely needs more, but not bad at all. Shadebinder, they fixed a bug where ice flare bolts wouldn't track towards enemies, and they fixed a bug where the super projectiles were not tracking until a certain distance traveled, so that's good. General, decreased crystal shatter damage. So it's a step in the right direction, guys. It is a step in the right direction. Now, we don't know exactly when these changes are coming, but they do say across Season 13 and 14. So for Season 15, we're also looking at universal adjustments to Stasis by increasing damage reduction when frozen to provide more survivability for the victim. The thing is with this is like polishing a turd. Once you're frozen, you're dead. And if they give you a shit ton of damage reduction to the point where you can't be killed when you're frozen, what's the point in being frozen? It's a catch-22, and yeah, I don't know what they can do. Stasis is just so oppressive in Crucible that being frozen is just, there's no way to leverage that in the favor of the frozen player, right? It makes no sense. So, following this Stasis tuning in Season 15, we will also focus on light subclasses and release a set of targeted buffs to our most underutilized specializations. Well, at this point, every light-based subclass aside from Chaos Reach and Dawnblade are underutilized, so I would hope that almost all light-based subclasses are getting a buff and some sort of ability to counter Stasis. They don't specify that here, but I hope that's what's happening. Now, the goal of all these changes is to keep Stasis feeling great in PvE and bring its representation in PvP more in line with our light-based abilities. All sounds really good and promising. Now, finally, we want to continue to adjust weapon balance and performance and introduce new perks that shift the meta in the Crucible. I think the team has done a great job in this area over the last several months, introducing balance changes both at the seasonal boundaries and at the mid-season, and we want to continue to drive down this path to diversify the types of loadouts you encounter from season to season. In addition, at Season 15, we will also be looking to adjust overall ability usage rates to make sure guns and gunplay are always the key to success in the Crucible. Good. These are all good things to hear. We are very pleased. Of course, gameplay balance only matters when the underlying playing field is fair. So here they talk about the cheating problem. Now they're saying they're doubling the size of their security team. They've begun taking surveys, and they have taken a lot of aggressive legal action against cheat developers. But of course, they can't go into detail so as to not clue in the cheating developers of, what their moves are. Now, this is also really good news for PvP. They are targeting an overhaul of the Trials of Osiris reward structure and matchmaking paradigm to release before the end of this year. With this update, we specifically want to target a few things. So they want to improve the overall health of the Trials matchmaking pool, both by incentivizing a wider audience to engage and better defining separation of skill tiers. So this kind of sounds like skill-based matchmaking. I'm not sure. Who knows what they're doing at this point? Trials is so down, like Trials is down cataclysmic. So at this point, whatever, just change it from what it is right now, because what it is right now is a horror show, let's be honest. So they also go on to say they want to rebuild the Trials reward structure so that it encourages more players to stick to their active cards longer. Our current structure encourages a lot of recycling cards after a single loss, meaning the first games of your Trials card has a high chance of being incredibly challenging. We want to build a reward structure that continually pushes high skill players to want to progress deeper into their card even after a loss, making 3 to 5 wins a more achievable goal for more players. Interesting. Investigate opportunities for solo players to participate in Trials regularly. We believe this will not only make the matchmaking pools healthier, but will also encourage more players to see what Trials is all about and hopefully form social connections with other PvP loving Guardians. You know, this is something I've been thinking about recently. I've always been against it, you know, like solo queuing into Trials and stuff like that. But at this point, like I said, Trials is such a failure at this point that why not, man? Why not? Give solo guys a chance to hop in there, and maybe they'll enjoy it, and maybe they'll form teams, and then they'll become part of the player pool, you know, as far as teams go. After Trials, we'll be targeting a similar in scope refresh to Iron Banner. While there's a lot to do when it comes to supporting the Crucible, we want to target our efforts around global PvP balance and our most aspirational modes first. Guys, as a PvP guy, you know, I've been starving for some sort of acknowledgement from Bungie that yes, PvP is in an absolute terrible state, and whilst it's just words and whilst it's, you know, nothing concrete has happened yet, this is very, very encouraging from a PvP player's point of view, and that's why I've obviously focused more on the PvP side of this update, what with me being a PvP guy. Now here they're talking about the return of Vault of Glass. They'll have more to say about it before launch. There are a few things they want to clarify now. So you should expect the raid team to have a few tricks up their sleeves when you tackle the depths of Venus this summer. It will also launch with a contest mode with the first 24 hours and a world's first race. Since this is a reprised raid, we're going to do world's first a bit different. Players looking to claim the belt will not only have to complete the raid, but also a curated list of challenging triumphs. And while only one fire team will walk away with the belt, there'll be plenty of opportunities for players to earn the ability to purchase some sweet real world loot through Bungie rewards. Okay. So they're adding a little bit of a twist to the world first race for Vault, which is interesting. Obviously Vault of Glass comes back next season. One last thing before the end of the year, we're also looking to add a master version of Vault of Glass. I'm really excited about how Master and Grandmaster difficulty have altered Nightfall strikes, increasing the potency of combat and the importance of executing mechanics. We'd like all our future raid and dungeon content to offer master difficulty versions. So that's pretty cool, adding master difficulty with you know, raids and all that sort of stuff. Really, really good to hear. Now in Season 14, Ada 1 is returning to the tower, and with her comes the ability for players to take any armor they have in their collection and turn it into a universal ornament. In Destiny 2, we call this transmog system Armor Synthesis. Every season, Ada will offer players a set of bounties that highlight various activity types. Players can complete these quests and receive materials they need to power up Ada's Loom, which can turn any piece of armor into your collection into a permanent universal ornament. And you'll also be able to purchase synthesis tokens for silver if you don't want to do that. Interesting, interesting. So the transmog system is looking pretty decent here. Once you've acquired some new universal ornaments, you want to head over to the new appearance screen in the character menu, where you can manage the ornaments on all of your gear in one place. You'll also find that you can apply shaders here individually or on all pieces of your equipped gear with one click. To make it even easier to try out a bunch of the new looks in Season 14, we've also changed the shaders to permanent unlocks, meaning you'll no longer need to hurl onto stacks of shaders. Yo, that is so nice. A lot of good quality of life changes are coming to the game, man. This is nice. This is very, very nice. Finally, man, finally. Okay, the last thing I think they were going over. This is an absolutely juicy article. Very, very juicy. Oh my goodness. So I've got a few things to cover about crossplay. So Let's see, Crossplay is coming to the masses in Season 15. We're doing some internal rollouts and alpha tests in Season 14 to prepare for a widespread launch this fall. With Crossplay, you'll be able to play with all of your friends no matter what platform you call home. And don't worry, we won't be matching console and PC players together in Crucible unless PC players specifically invite their console friends to play with them in the PC Crucible pools. Okay, that is good. That is very, very important. That is very, very important. Ikora Ray, she's been busy, man. She's doing something. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something. Also in Season 15, legendary Stasis energy and power weapons are coming. That's really, really cool. So Stasis is becoming a damage type. So fully fledged and part of the game. They're also adding a count to gilded titles. So if you get gilded dredgen twice, it will say gilded dredgen and then a little 2 there, which you can see. So that's really cool. Can't overstate how excited I am for what the team has planned for this year and beyond. What we're doing this year is about multiplying our potential for years to come, and while I promise not to spoil any of the things we reveal for the Witchqueen later this year, I feel like I owe you a little treat for sticking with me after all this text. So here's an early concept of one of the wild armor sets you'll be able to earn in our next annual release. And yeah, take a look at that. Think of it what you will. You guys like that or not? I don't know. Thanks for reading, Joe Jogoroth Blackburn, Assistant Game Director of Destiny 2. So that was an absolutely mammoth article. This is a really long ass video with a lot of me talking. And to go over it, to summarize, Witchqueen is delayed till early 2022. Sunsetting for all intents and purposes has been scrapped. The power leveling system has changed. There are big changes coming to the Crucible. Trials of Osiris getting big changes. Stasis getting nerfed. It's going to be a very interesting world's first raid for the Vault of Glass. There's obviously Transmog coming back to the game, or not coming back to the game, making its debut to the game actually. And yeah, that's basically everything in a nutshell. So guys, that's it from me. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. These are some big changes. I don't normally do videos like this, so I don't know if this video sucked a fat one, but either way guys, there it is. That is some big news for Destiny. Let's go.